So let's talk a little bit about Dead Static Drive. This is an indie game touted to come out in 2025. It's still in development and it will be available for release on the PC, Xbox Series XS, and it's going to debut on the Xbox Game Pass. So the gameplay and design, I obviously thought of GTA. And when I looked it up on Steam, it said this is Grand Theft Call of Cthulu. That's a blend of, well, GTA and the Cthulhu mythos. I will explain in reference to Dead Static Drive. Why GTA? Well, in the gameplay, you're stealing a car, tooling up and driving down Route 666. You've got the open world elements of GTA, and obviously you're stealing cars and using guns and all the fun things you do in GTA. So, why Cthulhu? Well, the Call of Cthulu is the most ultimate work of gothic fiction by the author H.P. Lovecraft. He wrote the Cthulhu mythos, of which the Call of Cthulhu is a story, which they made a game out of. But yeah, the Cthulhu mythos is, well, it's almost like a gothic universe. It's like a universe of gothic horror fiction written in the 19th century. The idea is that the universe is like this vast, uncaring space populated by ancient, powerful entities that are capable of driving humans insane. The horror isn't just monsters. It's kind of the idea that human existence is completely meaningless, which is the deepest horror of all time, and a place where knowledge is dangerous. Simply understanding the universe can drive you mad. If you listen to the soundtrack of Dead Static Drive, you already get this vibe. Kind of like a brooding horror film with like a cool retro flair. Developers are these guys called, Reuben Games. They're an indie gaming studio based in Brunswick, Australia. It was founded by Mike Blackney, and the studio have been dedicated to this game since 2014. The team is very close-knit, comprised of 2 to 10 members. And a really nice fact about these guys is that they are committed to ethical practices, pledging to donate 1% of income perpetually to the Pay the Rent movement, which supports First Nations communities in Australia. It's a survival horror game following a nightmare road trip across 1980s America. So you're on this road trip and you're there to kind of reconnect with some estranged family members. You need to complete various quests and you explore towns full of unimaginable horrors. The world descends into an apocalyptic nightmare full of Lovecraftian monsters. Society seems to collapse all around you and chaos ensues. You need to protect yourself and those that you care about, but you also need to be careful who you trust. And there's big themes of isolation, paranoia, and generally exploring, the horror of the fragility of human existence. Yeah, so it sounds really interesting and cool. It's focused on exploration and survival. Every choice you make as a player matters in this dystopian landscape. You have to scavenge for resources and fight or evade various characters. It's reminding me now a bit of 28 Days Later, which was that awesome not zombie film released, quite a long time ago, but it was so good. So the nice thing about this game is that it has this moral standpoint featuring your own learning of the game's characters and quirks. So everything you do is like a choice. Deciding who to trust and how to respond, things like that will all affect the game's outcome. So kind of echoing that old school point and click style, you don't know where you're going to go after, or that episode of Black Mirror where each outcome is different. So it has that kind of freedom and agility as a game, so it sounds really interesting. There's 50 different characters that have their own playability and interaction, which is quite big. One really nice fact that I was reading on X is that hitchhikers in the game apparently play the role of extra lives, but only if they're a doppelganger. So quite a nice little design feature. Other amazing things: your sanity bar decreases as you encounter different things in the game. So for example, if you drive for a long time, your sanity bar goes down, so you have to stop and stay in a hotel so that you can rest and recharge. So I thought that was kind of a fun idea. That's that psychological focus of the game. You learn and decide which characters you can trust. Your sanity level will of course affect how well you are able to do this. So monsters you fight are people giant insects, things that burst out of the ground. One kind of interesting thing is that when it gets dark, you lose your visibility, so it really pays to explore the terrain during the day. A bit like in Minecraft, where you kind of have to hide out at night, whereas during the day, if you've got enough resources and things like that, then you're able to kind of build what you need in order to survive the night. So yeah, it pays to be on it during the day in the game. So the aesthetic of the game kind of draws from, as I said, the Cthulhu mythos, kind of weird fiction authors such as Ted Klein, Ramsey Campbell, filmmakers such as David Lynch, obviously Eraserhead, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet. And if you think of all those influences, it's kind of like this surreal kind of dark vibe, kind of creating that unsettling atmosphere, seeing relics of this decaying American dream. Release date planned for 2025, no updates as far as I can see. Palette, it's just this kind of, like I say, this kind of retro feeling, sort of 1980s, kind of got all this purple sort of pinky kind of dreamlike quality. Yeah, it's kind of retro, it's kind of poppy, it's gothy, it's arty in its own way. It's really, it just looks really clever and well designed, and with this kind of nostalgic throwback to, yeah, like this kind of decaying American dream. You've got those like 1980s diners, the style of the cars. It looks really good, which always helps. I do like a good looking game. Conceptually, I'm all in. Artistically, I'm all in. I love the emphasis on player choice. It makes it feel like a more personal experience, obviously, when you're playing a game like that. Got this glowing sunset palette, really brooding, spooky music as well, which makes it feel all the more slasher. So yeah, steal a car, tool up and protect your loved ones, because your sanity ain't gonna be with you forever, etc. Tell me what you think when it comes out. See what it is saying. Hopefully it will be a really, really good game. Let's see what happens.